What's up, everybody? Welcome to our wrap-up of the EA Play 2018 presser. I'm Ryan Turford, alongside the ghost with the most, Drew McMillan.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, so we just watched EA Play 2018.
We did.
They announced some stuff.
They did.
And we're going to go through everything they talked about.
Well, we're going to talk about things that interest us anyway. I don't know if we'll talk about everything.
Well, I mean, we should at least go over the announcements.
We will acknowledge everything.
Just because we're not going to do... This serves as like us talking about it on the podcast.
Yeah, this is like the wrap-up.
Yeah, so in case you missed our live content, this is for you.
Yeah.
So first thing they showed, Battlefield 5 multiplayer. They quickly confirmed that Battle Royale is confirmed.
They didn't show anything of it. They kind of off the cuff of the mentioned and Battle Royale.
We don't have player counts or anything like that. We don't know if it's full 100 players or not.
Map sizes, how it's going to work, how the Ring of Death is going to work.
They said it would just come out sometime later. Like they would show it later this year at some event.
Yeah.
Not at the Microsoft stage, but they did confirm a new war story is debuting on the Microsoft stage tomorrow.
Right. So we'll see some stuff tomorrow. But I don't think we'll see any of the Battle Royale for a while. Sounds like it's something that they've just decided on.
I'm pretty sure there will probably be like a singular Battlefield event where they show all that stuff.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's not even ready. Like, it's probably pretty early in development.
Yeah. Well, the same thing happened when we saw the debut of Call of Duty as well.
Yeah.
They announced Blackout was a thing, but then had literally nothing to say about it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Other than a logo.
Yeah. So, I mean, the game looks great. They showed, like, a lot of, like, the destructible environment stuff.
Like, just the snow coming off the top of the buildings was awesome.
Yeah, that was really neat.
Like, it looks like Battlefield Bad Company 2 all over again.
Yeah, I've heard that comment already.
Because Battlefield Bad Company 2 especially really doubled down on the destructible environments, and I think did a really good job of it, and that's kind of what they did this time.
Yeah, so, I mean, other than that, we don't... The one gameplay feature they kind of talked about was you can move around weapon placements with vehicles now.
Yeah.
You can hook them up with your tow hitch. Away you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I said it before and I'll say it again. I'm really excited for Battlefield V.
Yeah.
Or 5. I mean, I know that...
I don't know if I'm really excited,
No, I mean, I know you it's not usually your kind of game.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, Battlefield 1 was awesome. It was one of my favorite first-person shooters this generation. So I'm really excited to see what they do with 5.
Yeah, I mean, the stuff they showed looked cool. So.
Yeah. Next up, FIFA 19.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all we have to say about that. They said they announced UEFA's coming to it, and FIFA, the FIFA World Cup 2018 is coming to both FIFA 18 and 19.
Yes.
That's it. We're not mentioning FIFA anymore.
Yeah.
Next up, they announced an interesting announcement. So we already knew that EA Origin Access exists on PC, where you can basically, is like EA Access on Xbox, where you pay a yearly fee or a monthly fee. I think it's $4 a month, or $25 per year.
Yeah.
And you get access to games from quote unquote the vault.
The back catalog. Yeah.
Once they reach a certain time, they usually get added to the back catalog. So what they announced today were two things. They announced the EA Origin Access Premier.
Yes.
Which is kind of going to work the same way as Game Pass does. So the idea is going to be you're going to still have all the vault games that you do in EA Origin Access, but any new games you'll get day and date with the service, which is really cool. So like Battlefield V
and Anthem, they specifically mentioned both those titles.
You'll get them day and date. You won't have to purchase them separately or anything. It's just part of the subscription.
Yeah.
They did only announce that this is for PC.
Yeah.
They haven't mentioned anything about EA Access, although I would imagine tomorrow on the Xbox stage we hear more about that. Like that the same carries over for the Xbox.
Yeah.
EA Access.
Yeah.
They also announced, as part of the Premier service, they're doing an online streaming service where basically you're going to be able to stream the games to your computer, kind of like PlayStation Now does.
Yeah. So specifically, this is a cloud computing kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Through the cloud.
Like Gaikai, which is now
PlayStation Now.
PlayStation Now.
Yeah. Or OnLive back in the day.
Yeah, and they suggested that like you could do this. They talked a lot about like your mobile device. They showed people playing FIFA on like
playing games phone. Anywhere.
Yeah.
And again, PlayStation Now also does it.
Yeah.
That way, you can play games on your Vita that way. You can play games on your phone that way with an app
on your Xperia.
Well, it's more than just the Xperia.
Yeah.
But yeah, it works that way. So I'm really interested to see what they do with that. Hopefully the service works. Because the problem with PlayStation Now is that there's like half a second of lag sometimes.
Yeah.
And if you play a game like Ninja Gaiden 2, like I did on there, it's a mistake because you're going to die.
One of the other issues with PlayStation Now was initially at least the pricing.
Well, the pricing still sucks.
Yeah.
It's on sale right now. It's $10 a month right now if you get it during this week, which is the they have their E3 sale going on, and that's one of the
Well,
deals.
now initially though, when they baited it, the pricing was like per title.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was rentals before.
Yes. But they're not. It sounds like they're not doing this, but they didn't say definitively what the pricing was going to be.
It sounds like it's going to be roped into the EA, the Origin Premier service,
right?
As part of the fee you pay for that, and we don't know what that fee is.
We don't know. They said they will announce pricing later.
Yeah, I'm assuming we'll either hear about that later this week or a couple months from now, because it's supposed to launch this summer.
Yeah,
that's what they said.
Yeah.
So we don't know when that's going to be yet. So the next thing they talked about, Respawn. They had Vince Zampella on the audience, and we were all like, "Why is this announcement so weird?"
It was really weird. So they announced
Renee and Vince Zampella in the audience.
Yeah, they essentially this is how they announced the new Star Wars game from Respawn, which is called Jedi.
I think it's Jedi Exodus. I wrote down Jedi Order, but I think that's a mistake.
Jedi something or other.
Yeah, doesn't matter. It's coming holiday 2019.
They said it's set during the Dark Times,
aka between episode 3 and 4.
But it was weird because it was just basically like here's Vince Zampella sitting in the office or in the audience, sorry, and
he's like, oh, by the way, here's the title.
Yeah, he told us that's what the game was called.
We don't even have a logo or any gameplay. We don't even know what kind of game it is.
No.
Although, again, from what we saw of the footage from the dev diaries that they showed last year, it was like that. It looks like it's focusing on melee combat. I'm guessing a third-person lightsaber game.
Yeah,
kind of like Jedi Knight. That's what I'm hoping for, and that's what I think it'll be.
Yeah, he did confirm you play as a Jedi.
Yeah,
it's about being a Jedi.
It's about being a Jedi.
You will have a lightsaber. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fairly certain, without them saying it, that this is a Jedi Knight reboot or something similar to that.
Cool.
Which would be awesome. I would love to see you be able to make your own Jedi, like in Jedi Academy.
Yeah.
But again, it'll probably be about a specific Jedi that you play as.
Yeah.
Next up, Unravel 2 was announced.
Yes, it was.
And it's out now.
And it's out.
You can go play it.
Yeah, they Cloverfield paradoxed it.
Yeah.
They said, we're working on this and it's out. And they had a little janky demo on the stage.
Yeah.
It's
where
like
he got chased by like a bird that looked like a turkey, but isn't.
It's not a turkey. It's definitely not a turkey.
It looked like it.
It looked like a turkey.
But we don't know what kind of bird it is.
Yeah. So the gameplay hook for this is it's unraveled, but instead this time you have a partner. So it's a little bit like brothers or something like that. Yeah.
Except you're actually attached to each other by yarn.
Yeah, and that has again some gameplay hooks in it. Like you can pull your buddy up with your end of the yarn and so on.
Like if you're playing solo, it looks like you carry the other person on your back,
and you can
split up and you select one or the other to play as.
Yeah.
Or you can play the entire game as in co-op if you want to.
Yeah, it looks like you can like toggle between one another because you need to do things like one dude needs to distract the bird while the other person climbs down or whatever. Yeah.
And likewise, you can throw the yarn to the other person. You can separate from each other and then reconnect and stuff.
Yeah.
It looks interesting.
Yeah.
It's an interesting approach too, because it's not very often where we get a game like this.
Yeah.
That's out right now.
No.
The only things, because remember a couple of years ago, that was the hot thing when like that Dead Rising thing. It was like the almost like the weird goofy spinoff of Dead Rising was out day and date. It was like where Frank like basically dressed up as other Capcom characters. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
But I remember that was like the one where it was like, and it's out right now.
Yeah. That doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting that they did it this way, and I'm really interested to see how this pans out. They also talked about the solo content coming to Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
So they're adding both the movie Solo, Chewbacca, and Lando.
Yes.
As well as some other maps, but we
already knew this.
Yeah.
But they showed it.
Yeah, and it's coming out next week.
Yeah.
But the other exciting announcement that's even more exciting than this, I think, Clone Wars stuff. There is getting a big expansion. So there was already prequel stuff.
Yeah.
In Battlefront 2, but now they're focusing more on stuff from. First of all, Geonosis is one of the maps, but then they're going to focus on like stuff from the Clone Wars TV show.
Yeah. So they mentioned specifically General Grievous, Anakin, Count Dooku,
And Obi-Wan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is awesome because all of the, again, they were in Battlefront, the original Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
And then there were some really awesome maps that didn't make it over, like Geonosis, Mustafar,
Yeah.
and some other maps.
So they just said like Geonosis is back, and yeah.
And they said more maps are coming. Like it's going to be like a big expansion for Battlefront.
Which is cool because that's like the site of some of the largest, or like the biggest scale conflicts we see in Star Wars.
And we talked about it a little bit on when they announced this, just while they were talking. But like one of the things I really liked about Battlefront 2 is that you get to play in the prequel stuff. And it's actually cool.
Yeah.
Because, again, what sucks about the prequels is that they all have, like, the prequels have a cool setting, but the stories are terrible in the movies.
Yeah.
And the acting's terrible, and that's what makes them bad.
The dialogue is bad, the
bad
directing
CG.
is bad, the editing's bad.
Yeah. Whereas this time around, like, it was really cool to go to that planet that rains all the time where the clones are.
Camino,
yes.
Yeah.
Like, that was a really, really awesome map, and then Naboo was actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how
it'll be cool.
that works.
Yeah.
Next up, we got a new announcement, part of EA Originals, Sea of Solitude from game studio Joe May.
Yeah.
And it's got a boat in it, as my notes say.
It has a boat in it. Yeah. It looks
like Journey.
Yeah, it looks very, very Journey-like. Puzzle platformer with like a heavy sort of like, I don't know, like environmental narrative to it.
Yeah.
It's the emphasis
It's basically
on,
like a post-apocalyptic looking game where the world's like flooded.
Yeah.
Almost.
And the themes are about like loneliness and stuff like that, and how loneliness turns people into a monster.
Yeah.
So you can turn into a monster, presumably.
Once again, this is exactly what happens in the anime Bleach, except with ghosts.
Yeah.
Because the ghosts get lonely and they turn into hollows, which then cause them to attack people.
That's a really important. I'm really glad you brought up that point.
I mean, someone out there has watched Bleach. They know.
Right.
They know what I'm talking about. All right. So that's coming out in early 2019.
Yeah.
Don't know when. Next up, NBA Live 2019, coming September 7th.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on.
Well, they didn't talk much about it, to be fair.
They really just showed a trailer.
They showed a sizzle reel. It looked like a...
This is a reel where they're like, I am the one. And
Yeah.
it's just all of them saying, I am the one.
Yeah,
But
so...
they can't all be the one, because that means that no one is the one then.
I think what they're trying to communicate with that is that there's going to be some kind of story mode where you have a create a character kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, they did that for... Because they did have an NBA Live last year.
Yeah.
And there was a story mode in it.
Yeah.
So... again, the NBA Live, we talked about it a little bit during the conference, but the games haven't been nearly as good as like the PlayStation 2 era of NBA Live. And I mean, they've just been worse in quality. They've been I think last year's was a little bit better. So like they're almost on the right track, but it still just pales in comparison to 2K. So
Yeah.
let's move on. Madden 19
Yeah.
exists.
Yes.
There was no date on it.
No.
So, and they had like that the Madden esports guy come out and he talked about his win.
Yeah.
That was really all they talked about with Madden.
It was
There
weird.
like a couple short trailers, but it was like
They showed like the kid, like it was like they made him seem like it was a character, like, oh, I'm gonna take you on and picking fights with people, and then he was kind of just a little shy on stage. He had like the big belt over his shoulder.
Yeah.
Can I say it's really weird that esports uses wrestling belts as a thing?
Well, they usually don't. I think this is one of the only ones that actually does.
It's really bizarre.
But they usually just use like a standard trophy.
Right.
I mean, it's not as ugly as have you ever seen the Magic the Gathering Pro Tour trophy?
No.
It's really, really ugly. It's like
Okay.
it got like almost like this like really ugly looking like orange kind of fiery look to it. It's not really a trophy. It's like this little. Go look at a picture of it. It's really dumb.
All right.
Next up, something we got excited about, Drew.
Yeah.
Command and Conquer Rivals was announced. It's a mobile game. They showed an entire mobile match done in 5 minutes on stage.
Yeah.
It is like a one-on-one mode game where you launch missiles at each other's bases. Like you have to stand on 3 little points, and you create your own troops. You have to mine for resources.
Yeah.
And essentially, you have to blow up the other person's base with the missile in the middle.
2 missile strikes blows up a base.
Yep. That's really all we have to say about it.
Yeah, it's back. They showed a CG trailer at the end,
Which looked awesome.
The CG trailer looked better than anything else they showed.
Kane confirmed.
And they ended with Kane. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big CNC fan.
Same here. I'm a big Brotherhood of Nod fan specifically.
This makes me sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, again, I don't think it's sad. I think it's good in the sense that it shows that there's life in this franchise. That they're at least, if they're willing to do this,
Yeah.
and if it's successful, maybe there's a future for Command and Conquer. Because up until like a year ago, I would have told you Command and Conquer was never coming back in any form of medium.
Yeah, I'm not hopeful.
Because of, like, again, with the BioWare situation with Command and Conquer, like, that was the last time we even heard about Command and Conquer as a franchise.
Yeah. That was BioWare Austin, which now doesn't exist anymore.
No, they do the Old Republic.
No, maybe I'm thinking of a different studio.
I think it was a different...
No, it was BioWare Victory.
Okay, that's why.
That's now...
Because BioWare Austin does the Old Republic.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
Anyway,
still around.
sorry.
But yeah, so I'm hoping this leads to another Command and Conquer game. One day there will be another Command and Conquer console.
I see this as like a nail in the coffin for CNC, but I appreciate your optimism.
Yeah, I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
I mean, if Halo Wars can exist, Command and Conquer can exist. All right, and last but not least, Drew, it's time for us to talk about Anthem. So they showed Anthem, they debuted it. We already had seen Anthem last year, but it was more of a tech demo. This year they showed like the game actually running with the actual user interface, and it looked awesome. Again, the game still looks fantastic. It looked fantastic last year when we saw the tech demo. This time around, it sort of showed some of the exploration stuff. They didn't go too much into the story because they'd had like a little bit of a panel set up.
Yeah.
With Casey Hudson and a couple others, sort of going over loosely what happens in the story, but we didn't really see too much of the Hubtown stuff. So they did confirm that the open world in Anthem is shared.
Yeah.
Like something like Destiny is. Where basically like there will be the same weather cycle and everything else. Everything that happens in that open world, you and I will both see if we're in just exploring by ourselves. They did confirm though that the home hub, because there is a hub similar to the city in Destiny, is single player instance. So when you go back to your home base, you basically, it will, according to Casey Hudson, it will actually progress similarly to a single player BioWare game. When you're in the home city, you'll accept quests. You'll learn. That's where all the story stuff will happen for the most part.
Yeah.
And you sort of experience that on your own when you return. And then when you go into the open world, that's when you play with other players. I think that's an interesting approach to doing it. Again, it's different than the way Destiny does, where you're just on the farm, for example, just kicking the ball around while also learning about the story in the same environment as everyone else. So it's interesting to see how they do that. They also unveiled, first of all, the suits of armor are called javelins. We didn't know what they were called before. But they also said that there are 4 different javelin suits. So there's the Ranger, the Colossus, the Scout, and the Storm.
Right.
And they all have different abilities. They're like the classes in Destiny, essentially. And they made it sound like you could change suits.
Yeah.
Like you like, for example, in Destiny, when you choose a class, you're always that class.
You're always that class. They say like your character is your character in terms of story, and then they suggested that you could pick any suit when you go out.
Yeah, because again, like it's not like your character's identity isn't your character class. It's the suit of like your character is your character, and then you just grab any suit off the shelf.
Yeah, it sounds almost a little hero shootery.
Well, actually, the game it reminds me the most of in this sense, Final Fantasy 14.
Right, where you're balancing...
Where you literally can pick any class you want and then switch between them.
Right.
As sort of the situation dictates.
Right.
Just and in this case, that sounds like that's what they're going for.
Right.
So, like, if, for example, we have a group together and everyone wants to play as a Colossus, well, someone's got to play something else.
Yeah.
And rather than hopping on your alt, instead you just switch your main character to something else, like the Ranger.
Makes sense.
Or Storm.
Yeah.
There are purchasable cosmetics.
Yes.
In this, kind of like Destiny does. There's no loot boxes or anything.
No loot boxes. They said, like, you will know what you're buying when you buy it.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
And we do know there's lots of customization, but all we know is color customizations, and we don't know how in-depth that is. Like, can you make it different color arms, or like your chest one color and then your arms another color or something? Or like customizable parts, like different parts, different helmets and stuff. We don't know anything about that. And we got a release date, which was the most surprising thing to me, because I thought they would probably be like March 2019. But no, we got an actual release date. February 22nd, 2019 is when we're going to play Anthem. So, Drew, I want to hear from you. How excited are you for Anthem?
I'm pretty excited. I don't know. This thing just like, at this point, it's another one of those I just want to play it. Mm-hmm. The stuff that they showed...
It's tough to sort of show off a game like that.
The stuff they showed of the story was not interesting.
Right.
Yeah. It just...
and to be fair, like...
It was just basically... Something bad happened in the world, and there's something bad out there, and we need to stop it.
And we can't stay in this city forever.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So they were intentionally vague about story stuff. So, yeah. And the one character they showed, the one guy, the shirtless dude with all the tattoos, he didn't seem terribly interesting to me. So, yeah.
I'm sure that just like any other BioWare game, they don't want to talk about the story.
Yeah, until the gameplay looks really compelling.
Yeah,
we talked about it's got some like almost like Dragon Age kind of like one dude freezes everybody and then another dude shatters them.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, like it's cool. You've got some cool combos built in.
Yeah,
and I wonder how like the progression's going to work as far as like how you earn new skills and likewise, can you change them on the fly for?
Yeah.
While I continue to vamp while we fix the camera.
Yeah.
So is there anything else besides the story that you really want to know about this game, Drew?
That, you know, I really want to know like where the story is going. Like in terms of like beats, like there was no like you are so and so and this is what's happening, or like there was no hint of what the moment to moment narrative
or are you
was.
like a stock character, or are you creating a character, or
yeah
how all that stuff works?
There's none of that, or there's none of that was shown, I should say.
Yeah.
And what does it look like when you move around the city?
Yeah,
we just keep being shown like these like
because the only glimpse of that we got
vignettes.
was like the first person vignette from the original trailer.
Yes.
Like the original gameplay demo back in the day. So yeah, I mean, just like you, I'm really excited about this game, but I do want to see more.
Yeah.
Of it, and I wonder if you're going to like go to other places on this planet, or if it's all like the same sort of jungly area, like, yeah. So all that stuff I hope is answered later. But yeah, it's awesome that we know when to expect this game. Mark your calendars. I'm glad that it's not this year, because there are a million awesome games coming out this year, and we know that a lot more are getting dates this week. So it's interesting. So let's just wrap up the conference. So Drew, what did you think of EA Play overall?
It's super lame. You know, there was more stuff for me this year.
Yeah, I think this year was much better presented and had a better variety of games than last year did.
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, it didn't have like awkward vloggers not reading the teleprompter.
Yeah,
or it didn't have like the two like football, like soccer comedy dudes come up on stage and talk for 5 minutes. You didn't have any of that stuff.
The execution was better, but honestly, like the Command and Conquer thing. A friend of the show, Jonathan Orr, put it, having a shoutcaster come out and do commentary on a game that nobody knows anything about, it doesn't have a lot of value.
Yeah, because you don't know none of us know the intricacies of the sport.
Yeah, like,
so it's tough to follow.
It would be much better to have somebody who's like developing the game, who can talk about the balance. Like, here's what's happening and here's why, you know? So
kind of like a traditional demo.
Yeah. So
Yeah. I mean, I kind of feel the same way. I mean, I think that there are lots of games for me here.
Yeah.
Definitely more than last year for sure. And I liked their approach to presenting this year. But yeah, I'm in the same boat where it was a little bit disappointing. I mean, EA, of course, it was going to be tough to win me over, I think, with an EA conference. But I think they did a much better job this year than last year. So I'm excited. And I mean, they have a lot of games that I'm excited about.
Yeah.
For sure. So let us know what you think. Hit us up on Twitter at game_moose_cast, on Facebook at facebook.com/gamemoosepodcast, and on our website, game-moose.com. So we'll be back tomorrow with the Microsoft conference.
Yeah.
Which I'm excited about, bright and early tomorrow.
Yeah.
Get hyped, everybody. And then Bethesda tomorrow night. And then we've got Sony and Square Enix and Ubisoft on Monday. And then Nintendo on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So EA3 is just beginning, folks.
Yeah.
I mean, get used to seeing these bugs on camera, because, get hyped. Anyways, for Drew McMillan, I'm Ryan Turford, and we're signing off from the EA Play 2018 press conference.